July 9th became one of the most consequential days in global geopolitics. From the escalating Iran conflict and Israel's latest warning to rising oil prices, global markets, NATO, and Ukraine. Here are the 6 biggest developments that shape the world today. Iran conflict escalates again. The biggest story of the day came from the Middle East, where tensions between the United States and Iran rose once again. According to multiple reports, both sides accused each other of escalating the conflict after another round of military actions involving U.S. and Iranian interests across the region. The developments pushed several American military facilities in the Gulf into a heightened state of alert, while regional air defense systems were activated as a precaution. Although Washington and Tehran continue to avoid direct statements suggesting they want a full-scale war, their actions tell a different story. Both countries are increasing military readiness while trying to demonstrate strength without crossing the line into a broader regional conflict. For the United States, the objective remains clear: protect American forces, maintain freedom of navigation in the Gulf, and deter further attacks on U.S. personnel and allies. For Iran, the strategy appears to be maintaining pressure on the United States while avoiding a direct confrontation that could trigger a much larger military response. This delicate balance has made the situation increasingly unpredictable. A single miscalculation by either side could quickly transform a limited confrontation into a wider regional crisis. The international community is watching closely because any major escalation would affect far more than just the Middle East. It could disrupt global energy supplies, increase shipping risks, and place additional pressure on an already fragile global economy. And that brings us to the second major development from July 9th. Israel issues a new warning as the Iran confrontation intensified. Another key player stepped into the spotlight: Israel. On July 9th, Israeli officials warned that if Iran continues activities they consider a direct threat, Israel is prepared to launch additional military strikes. It was a clear signal that Israel has no intention of waiting for the situation to deteriorate further. For Israel, this isn't just about supporting the United States. Its primary objective is preventing Iran from expanding its military capabilities and influence across the region. Israeli leaders have consistently argued that any delay in responding to emerging threats could carry serious consequences for the country's national security. That warning matters because it changes the dynamics of the crisis. The conflict is no longer just about Washington and Tehran. If Israel becomes directly involved again, the risk of a broader regional war increases significantly. For the United States, that creates a difficult balancing act. Washington remains committed to Israel's security while also trying to prevent the conflict from spiraling into a much larger war. As governments monitored the growing military tensions, financial markets began reacting almost immediately. And nowhere was that reaction more visible than in the oil market. Oil prices climb as Middle East tensions grow. As tensions in the Middle East continued to escalate, the effects were felt far beyond the region. On July 9th, oil prices moved higher as investors closely watched developments around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy corridors, through which nearly 1/5 of global oil supplies pass every day. Although there was no major disruption to shipments, the growing risk of military escalation was enough to raise concerns across global energy markets. Whenever uncertainty increases around this strategic waterway, traders begin pricing in the possibility of future supply disruptions, and that alone can push oil prices higher. If the situation continues to deteriorate, the impact could extend well beyond fuel costs, increasing transportation expenses, driving up the prices of everyday goods, and adding fresh pressure to inflation worldwide. That's why what happens in the Gulf doesn't stay in the Gulf. It has the potential to affect economies across the world. And as oil prices reacted to the growing uncertainty, global financial markets began responding as well. Global markets turned cautious. The uncertainty wasn't limited to the energy sector. As news of rising tensions in the Middle East spread, investors around the world became more cautious. On July 9th, major financial markets saw increased volatility as traders weighed the risk of a wider regional conflict and its potential impact on the global economy. During periods of geopolitical uncertainty, investors typically move money away from riskier assets and into safer investments such as government bonds, gold, and the US dollar. While markets did not experience panic selling, analysts warned that if the conflict continues to escalate, it could weaken investor confidence, slow global economic growth, and keep inflation under pressure through higher energy costs. For now, markets remain focused on one question. Will diplomacy prevent a wider crisis? Or is this only the beginning of a much larger confrontation? As governments worked to answer that question, attention also shifted to Europe, where NATO leaders were making important decisions about the alliance's future security strategy. Those were the 6 biggest geopolitical developments from July 9th. As these stories continue to unfold, we'll keep tracking what happens next and what it means for the world. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next report.